I love this guy, and I don't care who knows it. His show, could you say our show follows his on YouTube?
Sure, why not?
Yeah, of course.
His show precedes ours on YouTube? Because the number of people that show up on our chat room talking about vitamins and whatever Pat McAfee had just talked about.
Well, right now, everyone in the chat is just typing AJ Hawk for some reason.
I don't know, because he does a show with AJ Hawk, and his show is also on Westwood One, and he's one of my favorite people. And I'm like, let us finish up our draft week on NBCSN with this man. He is Pat McAfee. How are you, Pat?
Rich, I'm fantastic. Every time I get a chance to chat with you and Chris and everybody over, is Del Tufo still there? The whole crew.
I'm here.
It is a highlight of my day. Thanks for having me on this beautiful Feel Good Friday.
Patrick, walk me through how you feel Aaron Rodgers feels right now. What's he thinking, do you think, right now?
You know, I'm not 100% sure how he feels. He was on our draft super special last night with Mr. AJ Hawk, myself, and the boys, and he, I think, was enjoying the hell out of himself. He was laughing. He had his big old beard. He had his hair slicked back. He had a denim jacket on. I think he was very excited for who the Packers were going to pick. He mentioned and referenced how there hasn't been a skill player drafted by the Packers in 15 years, so that would be cool. But also, if a defensive player gets picked, it's all good. He likes where a team's at. And then all of a sudden, out of nowhere, I think the entire world, the draft was kind of boring. There was a couple selections of wide receivers that nobody expected before the other person. Judy not going first, I think, was surprising. Your boy Mike Mayock made a play there. Yeah. But then off the top rope, the Green Bay Packers come in and do something that nobody expected. And to be frank, I think it was a very stupid draft choice. And if I was Aaron Rodgers, I'd be very confused. With 4 years left on my contract, we're one game away from the Super Bowl last year. We gave up 186 yards before contact against the San Francisco 49ers. We have a lot of holes on our team. Let's go try to win a Super Bowl. But instead, here we are, drafting a backup quarterback. And this is no offense to Jordan Love, but I feel like if I'm Aaron Rodgers, I would be mightily pissed off.
Yeah, especially, again, you know, I'll repeat myself what I've said before for the sake of our conversation here, Pat, is the 49ers, the team that, you know, who Mostert is still running, is the phrase that Joel Klatt used before our conversation here on the show. That team went from the spot behind where the Packers originally were to the spot in front of where the Packers eventually moved up to take a receiver for their quarterback. Tom Brady's new team moved up a spot to get a protector for Tom, and the Packers, who were one game away from the Super Bowl, took somebody who, as Jay Glazer told me on our live stream on NFL Draft-a-thon last night, does not get them any closer to the Super Bowl. They were one game away from the Super Bowl. It does not get them 0 games away. It's got to be tough.
Well, think about this. There's not a lot of humans that you can put into the same air as Aaron Rodgers, right? Tom Brady, Drew Brees, Aaron Rodgers. Those are probably the three guys that you can compare right now. Aaron Rodgers has 4 years left on his contract, right? Drew Brees has a 2-year deal he just signed and was hurt last year. Tom Brady signs a 2-year deal. Did you see the Buccaneers draft a backup quarterback or the future of the franchise? No. Did you see the Saints do that? No. Instead, on the complete opposite side, they drafted to protect their guy because they know that they got a guy. I just don't understand how this plays out, how this works. And I understand there's some buffoons that have to get on TV and defend the pick, but in my eyes, I don't think this is ever going to look good. I just don't know why you want to make Aaron Rodgers hate your organization. I don't know why you don't want to protect Aaron Rodgers, and I don't know why you don't get him a weapon or two, or maybe you lose Martinez on the defensive side of the ball. Patrick Queen is sitting there. It just feels like this is a very inept decision, and I don't know how they're going to spin this for people to think it's a good idea, but it's just dumb, Rich. I don't get it. It's just dumb, I think.
Pat McAfee of the Pat McAfee Show on radio, also podcast, YouTube, right here on the Rich Eisen Show. Did you like the Tua pick by the Dolphins over Herbert? What'd you think of that one, Pat?
I know that I can never listen to another word that Tannenbaum says. I know that. Tannenbaum, former general manager of the Dolphins, allegedly friends with the Ross family, the owner of the Dolphins. He goes on Get Up like a week and a half ago and says that it would be irresponsible to take Tua in the top 10. And that might have been a kamikaze mission sent by the Dolphins to go say that on the internet or on TV. But the narrative became that Tua's injury prone, Tua's not a top 5 pick. Everybody had him tanking going down the draft boards. And then there we are, number 5. Dolphins get their guy that we all thought they were going to take all along. I like Tua behind Fitzpatrick. That guy's played for 42 NFL teams and franchises. He's a smart guy. B-Flow almost fought a ref last year. I mean, I just think that is a great team on the rise, especially in the AFC East, who just lost Tom Brady and Gronkowski. I like what the Dolphins did yesterday, not just with that pick, but with their other two as well.
By the way, I never went for the head fake with anything that I heard about the Dolphins not being into Tua, that they were into Herbert, that they were trading up for a tackle. What Mr. T is, Francesa refers to Tannenbaum in New York City, as the Pope would call him on WFAN, that whatever any of them were saying, I did not. I called it the Kaiser Soze of smokescreens. It was the greatest it ever been, and now poof. It's gone. Now it's gone, and Tua's there.
The interesting thing is that's the difference between you and me. That's why you're a legend, and that's why I'm very new in the game. I bought it. I absolutely bought it. I was like, well, Tannenbaum wouldn't lie. Tannenbaum wouldn't get on television and lie like that. This guy is trying to set something up for the Dolphins family so that whenever they don't draft Tua, everybody can expect it. Turns out Mr. T, ass. Complete ass. Don't listen to a word that guy says ever again, and that's how I feel about it.
Well, Pat, I mean, these could be not mutually exclusive. I mean, that the Dolphins could have been smoke screening, and Tannenbaum could think that it would be derelict of duty to take Tua in the top 10. Could very well be that. I mean, it's entirely possible because, again, an evaluator doesn't get their hands on somebody with the medical staff. That's the issue. I just think it was worth it. It's worth every single second. You want to put fannies in the seats at Hard Rock. You want to have people who had a front row seat to Tua's Alabama tenure. You're in SEC country. Go ahead and do it. I love it.
Well, and remember, the Dolphins, less than a year ago, everybody said they were tanking for Tua. They traded out Tunzel, who has the greatest lungs in the history of the NFL. They got rid of Kenny Stills. They were making all these plays. But everybody forgot that when you have Ryan Fitzpatrick at quarterback, the man who has a brain from Harvard, a heart of a plumber, he's going to win games all by himself. And B-Flow, the same type of thing. You bring in Kyle Van Noy. They signed the wide receiver to a long-term deal. Now you have your quarterback of the future. Things are looking very, very much like they're on the upswing for the Dolphins. And it hasn't been like that for a long, long time.
Oh, I love that. Brains of a Harvard man, heart of a plumber. That is Ryan Fitzpatrick, the anti-tank quarterback. There is no tanking in that man. There's only windows that he shouldn't throw into. That's about it when it comes to Ryan Fitzpatrick.
Yeah, he'll run his face into a fan, too. I mean, he will absolutely do that. And he is way too smart to be doing the things that he does. He's an anomaly, but he'll win you 8-9 games whether you like it or not.
Pat McAfee here on the Rich Eisen Show. So again, I was in the NFL draft-a-thon chat room all night long. I was keeping an eye on the linear television broadcast. Which home draft setup that you saw last night do you think is the one seed if we were to put it in a bracket? Which is advancing? Which is your favorite from last night you saw?
All right, let's talk about a couple here. We have to if we're going to do this. Bill Belichick in Nantucket with his kitchen table completely bare and the walls empty and the windows closed. Love that. Wouldn't have expected anything else from Bill Belichick. Then I heard you guys talking before I got on here. Cliff Kingsbury in the middle of the desert in Arizona has a grotto-type thing with a bonfire in the ground with a cabana. He looked like he was fresh out of some cocaine drug lord movie. It was next level. I absolutely love that. But the person, and you mentioned it, and I mentioned it, I think we're on the same page. If you are doing a draft that revolves around Wi-Fi, and most people's Wi-Fi plugged into their house, and you choose to do it on a $250 million super yacht that's called Bravo Eugenia from Miami, you are a legend. You are a G in making everybody Google the yacht that he's on so everybody knows what Jerry Jones got, especially with the rumors coming out that he told his scouting department not to interrupt him. I mean, that is just the winner of the night, and they got a damn good player in CeeDee Lamb.
I love it. You know, and I'll just tell you this, Pat, man. You know, when it comes to it, you knew with all the home setups that there would have to be somebody behind the scenes off camera that you could potentially see in a glass window doing something. What's going on? The Vrabel situation with what's going on in the house where, you know, look, the Titans were number 2 in the AFC when it was all said and done. We all know that. But it looks like something was going on. Pat, do you have any thoughts on that subject? On the Vrabel?
You know, and I do think I did not give Vrabel enough justice there in my rundown of Belichick, Cliff Kingsbury, and Jerry Jones on a super yacht. And that is a 100% true statement what you're saying there. He's one kid with the mullet over his left shoulder, the other kid in a Teletubby onesie over his right shoulder, his daughter sitting Native American style on a chair, and then in the reflection it appears to be another kid, taking a grumpy, and then he has a massive lipper in his mouth. I mean, just a hog, maybe a half a tin in his face, and he spits immediately upon coming on camera. I think Vrabel is a guy that I would want to play for, a guy that I would like to drink beers with, and I think his family is electric as well, and I think the world got to see that last night.
Electric. It is true. Oh my gosh, man! Anything else from the draft coverage I may have missed that you want to pound the table for that you saw that I'm missing from last night, Pat?
Henry Ruggs III.
Okay.
There was two other Henry Ruggses before him. Putting on his robe, his Old Spice robe, immediately upon getting drafted with a banner over his head saying his name. I think that potentially takes the cake for my favorite moment of a draft prospect. But also, let's not undersell CeeDee Lamb getting his phone taken from him from his girlfriend, and then also that offensive lineman's mom who deboed the offensive lineman's girlfriend to get the hell out of the camera shot. Last night was awesome, and I can't wait for the rest of the draft.
That was what happened with Mekhi Becton's dad?
Hey, did you see Mekhi Becton's father was bigger than he is, Pat?
Yeah, he's a D tackle. That's a guy I wish the Colts would sign. Get him next to DeForest Buckner. That would be great in that big gray shirt. He looked like he could get out on a field and clog up some holes if he had to. And I think this year, the draft, I thought you guys were going to have a lot of problems over there at the NFL, to be honest with you, because we deal with the internet technology on a daily basis over here, as are you with YouTube and everything. I think it was very well done by everybody, including Roger Goodell, with a costume change in the middle of that thing and then hyping up the Zoom crowd every single time. I really think it was well done top to bottom.
It was, man. And again, Pat, would you want to join the draft-a-thon live tonight? I'm going to book you right now if you're free, if you're up for wanting to do that. You would be perfect.
No,
at this.
Rich. I saw that guest list you guys have. 2 star-studded for me.
No, it's not true, Pat. Come on now. You could crack the lineup. You could crack the lineup.
At some point last night, we were live, McAfee and Hawk, and you guys were live.
Yes.
I think you had Kevin Hart, The Rock, DJ Khaled, Tom Brady on there at one point, and it was me and AJ Hawk smoking vitamins and cigars right next to it. It's a different world that you have.
I know it's a different vibe. I know, but we didn't have The Rock. It was Stray, but he's still a superhero in his own right. But all right, before I let you go, Pat, everybody wants to play for Brady or with him. Gronk's coming back. What about you, Pat? You got any thoughts about coming out of retirement, maybe kicking some balls for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers? I've been hearing some noise from your world. What do you think?
I'd be completely lying if I said I didn't go to my backyard and start punting balls this week. I mean, whenever you see Gronkowski come out of retirement, and I got a lot of friends that are older and free agents that I get along with very well that are calling me up saying, hey, let's go down to Tampa. Let's try to get a pinky ring, Super Bowl ring. I mean, there is definitely some thought on my end. I'm going to have to lose about 30 pounds because when I was punting this week, my thigh kept hitting my gut, which is a problem. But it is nice to know that I can still bomb a ball. I just have to figure out whether or not I can do it for the duration because it's been a couple of years here since I've really got on a workout schedule. But I would be lying if I said I did not see if I could go and try and make that Buccaneers team.
You know what, Pat? And I would root for that because, again, you and Gronk in Florida together for Arians, sign me up, Pat. Sign me all the way up for that. 1,000,000%.
Well, you got to remember, Clyde Christensen, quarterback coach, used to be a good golfer buddy of mine.
Tom Moore, they're all there.
Bruce, all of them. Those are all my people down there. Literally all of my people down there. And it feels like they want to win, too. They're not drafting backup quarterbacks whenever they have a goat like other teams that are potentially in the draft.
Oh, way to bring it full circle. But let's one last question for you before I send you on to the day. Let's spin forward to tonight and tomorrow. who's the first punter going? Give me the punter breakdown. Who is going to get drafted, Pat, for the brand?
I have no idea punter-wise. There's a couple guys that kind of have a similar leg, but look for old Hot Rod, respect the specs out of Georgia to get picked up within the next day or so.
Okay.
I think there's a couple places that need a kicker, and I think old Blankenship down there, who's had a rap song with Offset and has kicked in SEC championships and national championships, is going to be the first guy off the board.
Pat, you're the man. Love you. Everybody check out Pat's show, YouTube, his pod, everything that Pat is churning out. It's all fantastic. I love being part of it. Let me know when I can, Pat.
Rich, we love you, man. Not everything's fantastic. We have some misses, but we'll hit a home run every once in a while.
Okay.
You're the greatest. Cheers. Stay safe over there.
Right back.
And I heard you going off about people judging Gettleman for putting a mask on in the middle of his thing.
Right.
It was weird. It was weird.
He's got somebody in his from his staff that's right there. He is vulnerable. He's a guy who's coming off of being sick last year. That's what I'm saying.
I know, but he literally, we saw him without the mask in that backdrop with, like, he had a tiny little photo, and then they cut back to him, and he looks like Bane all of a sudden. I mean, it came out of nowhere, but I agree. I think safety first.
That's
I'm on
right.
your side there, but I do believe it kind of hit us from the side there whenever he popped back in with his mask on.
You take care of your whole family, Pat. Be well. Say hi to everybody.
You got it. Cheers, Rich. We miss you out here, bub.
Right back at you. That's Pat McAfee, at Pat McAfee Show on Twitter. It's a must follow. God, it's so funny. He cracks me up.
Me and Pat.
Always has. Always has. Hey, you watched all the way to the end. Thanks for that. Watch more right here.